First of all, thank you to Ludek and Pavla. Like, this thing, there was no workshop schedule for this right now, right? So there was not a schedule. That was a last minute decision to make it happen, and there are so many things going on behind the scenes. Like, I learned about this, that something uncomfortable happened. I learned about this yesterday, and I reached out to some people, and I reached out to Papa and Ludek, and they were like, yeah, it's on top of our mind also, like, during the whole day, but what do we do about it? And so that we have the space here right now, it really shows how much they care about this topic, and yeah, it's really special, and I want to appreciate that, and yeah, we'll focus on this. Who the hell am I? You might have not seen me dancing because usually I'm at the sunrise here. I'm usually around between 4 to 8 a.m. and then I often disappear and sleep somewhere or so. And a little bit background about me is I'm a trained mediator, and I did couple therapy with 4 psychologists, and I also wrote down notes in case I forget something. And the topic of consent, boundaries, and communication is very important to me already for the last years. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story, how we actually started here. Like, why am I sitting here right now? So, 6 weeks ago, there was the Fusion and Friends weekend. It was a small, cozy weekend in a monastery in Bavaria in Germany. It's from the fusion scene. Some of Zouk dancers are also active there. And it was only friends and family. That was the idea of the event. And still there was an incident. 2 people, they didn't get along, misunderstood each other. It was not pleasant for both parties. And luckily, and as it's very accustomed in the fusion scene, I'm very grateful for that, there was an awareness team. And they did solve it, and they did handle it, and they did provide support for that. And so at that time, because I was part of the initiating of that event as well, and I had transparency into what happened, I asked myself, like, does Zouktime have an awareness team yet? I was not aware of that, and I was like, no, hopefully not needed. But let's see. In case there's a need, let's reach out. And now we're sitting here. So that's a little bit how it started. And one thing that I want to make that was very important to my heart was, at that time, there was an awareness team, and it tried to solve the situation, and there was a little bit like, who's the victim, who did something bad? And I come from a background of mediation, of like balancing, and everyone's co-creating and bringing themselves. And that was also what showed there, because some people were not happy about the solution, because those were all friends, and on both sides they were close friends, and they could understand the other perspective really, really well. So this is why for me the aspect of mediation is very important in the context of awareness. So much from that. What do you think, Brenda?
Hi. Thank you for sharing. And to me, it's also very special that I can see so many people here. I was believing, consent, we will have like 20 people. So it makes me very happy. A little bit of background, maybe you know me from Zouk, yeah, from dancing. But I'm very close to this topic. It took me a while, and I am happy to be able to talk about it because I'm Brazilian. Yes, so I believe as a Brazilian we have a lot of differences on, like, culturally speaking, on how we deal with closeness. And I first noticed this when I started traveling Europe, and I would like jump in people to hug, and they would do like. And I was like, in my mind, I'm sorry about doing that, but I was judgmental. I was like, wow, these people are so close. Do you know why I did that? Because I didn't learn about boundaries. In my culture, it's not something that we learn a lot. My childhood and a lot of us, it's always like, you are not allowed to close your room. You know, your parents need to have free access to everything all the time. You, like, as a kid, you need to be kissing everybody. Kiss this uncle, kiss everybody. I don't know, it's something like really culturally, we are very close. And I understand that this brings so much beauty to the scene. I believe this is something that makes you actually enjoy a lot coming to Zouk. The amount of connection, the amount of closeness. But I also understand that the lack of boundaries of our culture can also affect other aspects of boundaries, for example. So it took me a long time to even understand that this subject mattered. For you to have an idea, my background about consent, my first class of consent, it was in Zouk family with Roger. He has the Tantra retreat. It was not a Tantra class, it was a consent class. And that's how I heard about the topic for the first time in my life. I was, 32. And I remember when I was in the class and we were like saying yes and no and yes. And I was like, this feels so stupid. Why would we like break a connection, a moment, break the flow to say yes or no and to talk? I didn't understand the reason. But as I am surrendering more and inviting more of connection to the dance, I noticed that stuff happens a lot. And they happen to me too when I start dancing. When I start to dance, I was like 22 years old, 21 years old in Rio. And I had the experience that I believe a lot of you maybe once experienced or you experienced even here. That I went to the social and I danced with somebody and he was a teacher. And he started touching me and he started breathing with me and he started doing stuff. And I was not sure if that was part of the dance or not. Is this how the dance should feel like? Is this what a good follower would do, is just go in the flow? And it happens that I like very late in the days, I learned that not really, it can be, but it's not also part of the dance. And I understand, I really understand because I feel it in my body right now while I talk to you, the fear of bringing the subject up. Because it's almost like we are saying this happens. And it's much easier to say, no, in Zouk shouldn't have space for that, we shouldn't do that. It's much easier to do that. I wish it was this simple. But we are complicated humans. And we want to connect, and there is nothing wrong with that. I don't believe there is nothing wrong. I don't believe someone comes to the social and say, I'm going to go to the socials to like cross some boundaries today. I don't believe nobody really means that, you know? But it happens. And you know, one thing that is really interesting that I'm learning in the self-development experience is that I can be the best version of myself ever. Still, I can make people uncomfortable. Still, people can have negative experiences with me. So understanding that there is nothing wrong with that, you know, and there is nothing wrong with wanting to go to a social to cuddle. Sometimes maybe that's what we want to do. You know, like you're tired, your body's tired, you don't want to move so much, you want to stay on spot and enjoying a nice hug and a nice connection. And this is the line that gets very tricky, because maybe if you go to just a lambada social, there is not much time to confuse things. Right, Gilson? Yeah. Maybe if you go to a salsa social, there is not much time to confuse things. But like for most of people. But if you are for 1.5 hours in a close embrace, breathing and touching your cheeks and your skin and squeezing and releasing, and it's so close, the line is really thin. And one thing that is particularly tricky about this is the new people that come into the scene. Because they never experience that type of closeness, maybe even with nobody. And they come to the dance scene and everybody's doing it. So it's tricky. But I wouldn't want to say we shouldn't do it because it's tricky. What I would like is that we bring more awareness to the topic. That we talk about how important it is to have the ability of finding yourself in your body, what is comfortable, what is not comfortable, and how can I say, that's okay, not so much. How can I communicate that? I was talking to my friends, artists, and they still have a really hard time saying no. You know, they work with this for so long, and it's still hard. And I can tell you now, maybe a lot of you look at me dancing with people, and I already had this question many times. Brenda, how do you do to surrender to everybody, to trust in everybody? Do you know how? I don't. I don't. Do you know what I trust? In my ability of stopping any situation that is making my body contract and not feel safe. But to do that, I need to be aware of how I feel first. What is it that makes me expanded, open, relaxed, so I can understand that this is how I want to live. And any type of interaction that contracts my body, it's a point of attention. This situation here contracts a little bit my body. But I call this a boundary that I'm stretching because there is something bigger than my fear here, which is the will of contribute for this to become even more safe, for this space to become even more safe. So we need to be able to check where I'm stretching my boundary, so I need to be alert if I'm stretching. If there is a dance that is becoming too close, I need to be alert. Maybe this is too much for me. Maybe to get to a point that I need to stop. You know? And that's how we build the trust. First doing it ourselves. I don't know if you ever said this sentence. I did many times, and I already heard from many friends and students. I thought this was a safe place. I thought this was a safe place. This microcosm that we live is a microcosm for a macrocosm. Sorry about my English. But it's a little piece of the world we live outside. Everything is there, is here too. You know? I don't believe in such a thing as a safe place, like immaculated. Immaculated? Immaculate. I don't believe because, you know, I'm a human, I make mistakes all the time. If you give me your full trust, I might disappoint you. I might disappoint you. So we need to be able to trust in ourselves that we can do this. We can stop interactions. We can bring more awareness as leaders to understand that as the person that guides the dance, that tells someone what to do, that touches the body of another person, you need to be very aware of how they're responding, of how much you can listen to what they are answering to you. And as followers, to take this responsibility of where is it that my body is expanded, relaxed and open, and when does it close off, so I can communicate that this is not okay. And in addition to that, we need to understand that every no we say, it's a yes for us. Every no you say to something or to somebody, it's a yes you are giving to yourself. And if you don't give these no's to other people and you keep saying yes without wanting to say yes, with a no inside, it's you that is betraying the trust that you're going to stop something that you're not comfortable with. So this is quite deep, yes, because I understand as people that dance, we want to give pleasure, we want to serve, we want to provide nice moments to people. As artists, I notice that if I start to say yes to dances when I'm not feeling a full yes, my battery starts to go low. It starts to go low. But I'm scared that these people will not like me, so I'll keep saying yes. You know what can happen? I can get so frustrated with dancing that I quit, or that I lose completely my passion for it. Can you imagine how bad this would be for all of us? You know? And this is true for all of us. It's true for all of you. If you keep doing things that you don't mean fully yes, you are compromising your well-being, and this will be bad for you and for everybody that relates with you. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, we had an idea. Do you want to say something before?
You do great.
Thank you. Did I forget something?
No, we're good on the schedule, on the timing as well.
Yeah?
Perfect.
I'm so proud of us.
Let's
Wow.
see. We're not there yet, right?
We're not there. Okay, let's not celebrate yet. No, let's celebrate, because this is amazing. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna practice. We're gonna practice some, this was an idea of Olaya. Is she here? You're just so here, my baby. So Olaya said, you know, you were amazing, thank you. I feel so supported. Okay, I feel you. So to practice, she gave this great idea that I thought was really nice, and if some people want to contribute to this, we can build this together, which would be to practice going to something that feels uncomfortable at first, and to give tools for us to exercise how to go out of these situations. First with body language. Make sense? So in the workshop for followers, actually some people ask, like, how do you do when a leader is really rough with you? So, how do you do when a leader is pressing the head against your forehead like this and pressing your spine here and it's very painful? What do you do? And leaders, I'm sorry, because of time, we will practice more the situations that makes followers uncomfortable, because again, you are the ones that guide the dance. If you feel uncomfortable, it's a little bit easier for you to go out of it. That's why we will not practice your situations, but I want you to know you're seen. I understand that things uncomfortable also happens to you, but because of time, we will practice just the followers part, okay? Okay. So, how do you do when we have a really sexy song and they're really going for it and you are not there? So, to do this, of course, I'm gonna ask the leaders to go to this little edgy place. I remember Bruno once. Where is he? Bruno is there. One time he was like, no, I don't want to dance with you because I'm gonna give you a bad dance. And I was like, I don't think you're capable of, but try your best. And it was true. He tried. It was horrible in being bad. So let's not try to be like Bruno. Let's try to do the thing that we're gonna ask you to. So if we ask you to be rough, I want you to try to do. Of course, I don't want you to hurt anybody. It's just in order for us to be able to practice the tools that we're gonna give to the followers. Make sense? So let's practice like 3 situations. One, the rough one. The other one, the one that pulls the posture against your forehead like this. We're gonna maybe try to show. And the last one, when they go all sexy and you're not there. Do you have any other situations that you would like to address?
Maybe when the close embrace is too close and follower just wants a little bit more space.
Okay, so when the close embrace is too close and we want a little bit more space. Does anybody have any other situation that you would like to put on this practice? Wow, that goes way over. Okay, I don't think we're gonna practice this one here. She said, when someone starts kissing. When someone starts kissing. But it's an interesting topic, you know? Oh my God, do I go there? No. Thank you. Sorry, it's not my fault.
Yes, please. To hold the space also, we address some of the things later. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's an important topic, but let's maybe, if we have time, we address that one later. The only thing that I would like for us to understand is that maybe someone doing like unconscious head movement with you, or leading your body in a very rough way, and kissing are not very far away from each other. Both are crossing boundaries. So we don't want to give more importance to one and the other, because this comes more with the topic of sexuality and how we see it. So that's why we will not address this one right now. But if we have time, we talk about it. Yeah? Cool. So, rough leader, posture, too close and sexy just by yourself, because she's not there, but you believe she is. Yes? Do you know how to do that? Can you try to do that? Demo!
Bruno!
Okay, maybe we can do like this. I can show what I would do. Maybe Olaya, if you feel comfortable, you show too how Olaya would do. If somebody else's want to also show how you would do, we have more options. Yeah? Can you put play the song that is there? Okay, do you want do this with me, or we have a volunteer? Do we have a volunteer to fuck up for everybody? What? Ah, volunteers, I'll be away. Thank you for the praise.
Es escalofriante tenerte de frente, hacerte sonreír. Daría cualquier cosa por tan primorosa, por estar siempre aquí. Y entre todas esas cosas, déjame quererte, entrégate a
I'm
mí.
becoming more heavy. Thank you.
I'm here.
I'm becoming way more heavy. And this can be even enjoyable with a rough leader.
That's why she's smiling.
That's why I'm smiling. The other option that I could do, let's
Guardar tus secretos, cuidar tus momentos, abrazarte, esperarte. Tú no tienes paciencia.
So this one, I tried to take out the point of contact out of his touch. There was a moment that he grabbed me, yes, and if he could continue to do that, that's where I use language. I would be like, hey, I have a wound in my arm. Could you touch a little bit more softly, or, oh, could it be a little bit more gentle? I would feel more comfortable. I always like to speak from a place of what makes me more comfortable, instead of saying, oh my God, you're so rough. Because they tend to get defensive. I don't know why, right? So,
what you can always do is look into my eyes and say, I don't like this. But it's so important to make sure that we have eye contact before. And for you as follower, always, if I'm too close, if you put your hand here in front of my shoulder and just push me away, it's so clear that you want to dance with me, but I'm a bit too close for you. Let's do it later.
yes, let's do this one later. Thank you so much. The idea is that this one we wouldn't talk. That's why we didn't give these options, because this is the next exercise. Let's try the next one, the posture.
position. It doesn't need the music. So this posture.
I'm gonna show what I do. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Other side, I guess.
We cannot see.
We cannot see it. Cannot see it.
She's trying to show, guys.
Again, please.
Trigger point on the neck. Sometimes I grab just with the hands, like a cat, you know? Very gently. And I look in their eyes like, oh.
Put the fingers in the ear.
So one hand or both hands, and like he said, look in the eyes and give a nice smile, just, you know? Sometimes it works, sometimes they come back to do the same because it's a posture thing. So maybe you're gonna need to do a few more times, and there is the part of talking that we do later, yeah? Third thing, the Olaya one. Ah, it was the hug.
Yeah, it was a hug. So basically just putting the hand here, it's very easy to just create a little bit of pressure and instantly they will feel. So instead of bringing the hand here, just putting it in front and then you can just, and with very little effort from your body, they can already feel that the impact.
Cool, thank you. Okay, the last one, he's getting sexy and I'm not there. Okay, I don't know, because normally I talk on this one. Let's see if I do something.
Maybe you enjoy.
You need music for this one?
Yes, music. Yeah, you're gonna get Only with Brenda.
Enjoy.
Nunca olvidarte, entregarte mis
I think that's it. Yeah, I would just not go there. I would be in somebody
In someplace else, in my fantastic land that this is not happening. And I'm like enjoying.
Where to go? Can he do with me?
Oh, yeah.
contigo mi tiempo, guardar tus secretos, cuidar tus momentos, abrazarte, esperarte, adorarte, tenerte paciencia, tu locura es mi ciencia.
Thank you, Ryan. Amazing. Thank you, Sebastian, so much.
Guys, I wanted to say for our different approach, you see how Brenda, in this case at least, she goes for the jokes a lot and for trying to just, put it in a, sorry, I don't speak as well as you, Brenda. I need to practice. Yeah, like in a funny way and to make it playful and ligero, I want to say. Light. For me, I take another side, not wrong nor right. You need to depend. I found that I get misjudged by my smiles. Many times I smile because I get nervous. And people are like, oh, you're so happy, your smile is so big. But actually it's because I'm nervous. So I try to control more my smile if I'm not comfortable. So I'm like, I connect more with like, no, I want them to see that I am powerful. And I know that most people see me as like, Olaya is very powerful and blah, blah, blah. And really, you don't know how vulnerable I feel. And the powerfulness that you see many times is a shield. Yes, so I try to connect with this, how I want people to see me, the fake Olaya. Yeah, so I connect with that and I'm like, whoosh, I create a big space around me. And I try to be, you know, work with my posture and just go and super serious. This also gives information for the partner. Like, this is not what you want, right? This face. But then sometimes they get the message and they are softer, and then I give the little biscuit. So you see, smiling Olaya, everything is good. This you don't want.
Thank you so much, Olaya. Okay. You know, I felt like doing a workshop like this with all the teachers showing their different approaches. It would be really cool. But we don't have time for all of that, and I want you to be able to practice this. So we're gonna have just one song, and I want you to try the three of them with the same person. I know it's a little bit like out of nowhere. It feels a little weird, like in my first consent class, why we're pretending to do this. This is not how it happens in the real life. But if we don't practice, then in real life it's much harder to do it. So I'm gonna ask the guys, the leaders, to really help us on that. On really going to try to do your best to do in a way that it feels like something that could happen to this follower. So you can help her too, to communicate better. And also for you leaders, I believe all of you would love to have a follower that is totally, fully, 100% happy to be there with you, with no questions. And to do that, we need to practice. So if you can provide that for us, it would be amazing. Yes? So I'm gonna ask the leaders to try the rough, the too close, going sexy. That was it, right? And a little bit of the posture. Followers, try the things that we showed, or maybe you can try to find your own. Yes? Can we do this? Yes. Okay. No? So let's put the song. I will tell you when to... No, yeah. Let's start. Leaders, choose the one that you're going to start with. Okay? I will just say for you to change. And change the uncomfortable feeling. And change the thing so we can practice. And change the situation again. Try to practice another way. Okay, but I want to hear you in the next one. Okay, 1 minute to share a little bit. How was this with your partner? Okay, you can come closer so you can see if it's okay. Yes, thank you. Well, you probably thought about other situations that this exercise could be helpful to be trained. I heard some of them already. We cannot address all of the things, but I'm happy we're starting with something. So we're going to continue with the idea. As Sebastian brought, and also I have a friend from bachata that came, that she shared how sometimes can be very rough in bachata. And she and she shared what she also does, which is communicating. I love communicating. After I understood that I could talk about the things that I'm uncomfortable instead of leaving the social, my life changed completely. Completely. I believed that if I didn't want to dance like in all ways that people invited me to, I shouldn't be in the social because it means I don't want to dance. But actually it just means that there is a specific type of dance that I want. And I can ask for them and then I can stay in the social. So I would love for us to practice a little bit of the communication. There are so many things that I would like, but we chose one. One that I think is the hardest one. Maybe we're jumping a lot of phases and going straight there. But because of time, I believe this is important. Also, the topic that Ludet brought, also Olaya when we were talking, which is something that makes us more worried, which is the people that come to the dance and they are... Okay, stay around. So the people that come to the dance, they're new, they're maybe 3 months, 4 months, they're not aware of how it works and things happen to them and they don't know what to do and how to act, like happened to me in my beginning, yeah? So this one, I really like to practice this for all things in life, which is basically saying no. Yeah? So the exercise will be that you're gonna be dancing, and at some point during the dance, you will just stop, say thank you so much, and go away. Yes? I don't want to say much because I want you to be able to really live the experience. even though leaders, you already know that they will say no, maybe you're gonna feel something when this happens, even if it's just an exercise. Followers, maybe even though you know that you're supposed to say no, it will be hard for you to find the moment to do it. And you're gonna maybe see yourself like, I don't know how, when, and that's how we start to practice. Yeah? Being able to notice, I don't know how to do this. Yeah? The first 2 times, I will say the moments for you to say no, or to stop the dance and go away, to say thank you very much. How you say, it's up to you. Okay? The 3rd time, I will not say, this is the moment, I want you to do by yourself. Okay, so the first 2 no's, or the first 2 thank you very much and go away, I say the moment. The last one, or the few last ones, because you're gonna say no and go to another partner, find another person, it will be up to you. If nobody changes partner, we start the workshop again. Okay, can we try that one? After this, we're gonna separate, followers will go with me and leaders will go with Flo after this one, okay? I'm gonna ask leaders, try your best to have the most yummy, the most comfortable, the most safe dance, okay? So you're really going for what you believe is the best you can give. Remembering that you can be your best and people can still have other types of experiences with you. it's your own time now to find your ways to stop the dance. Do it with at least 2 partners. Okay, followers, come to this side. Leaders, go to the roof with flow.
So you can listen to yourself and think, okay, what did I experience? You can share in the group if you want, or you can share with your neighbor. Just take those 4 minutes and think what happened.
Ladies still have been polite.
Sorry?
Ladies still have been polite to me, even if I've been trying so hard to be polite to them.
Ladies have been polite to you. Still, yeah.
I found a clear rejection. The most difficult one was one person who walked away without saying anything, but kept walking away from me, and I thought it was part of the dance, and then it wasn't.
Okay. So the most difficult one for you was like the person walking away and not saying anything. That was the most difficult for you.
For sure.
For sure. That's. Yeah.
I think it's difficult when the person stops it and you have no idea why.
So if the uncertainty.
Express, like one of the followers like squeezed my hand, gave me like a bad look, and it's like it's a little bit confusing if you don't know what you did wrong.
Yeah, knowing that you want to know what is wrong.
Yeah, so you want to know what is wrong when you're left there. You want to know, like, get some feedback next time. That's like the hardest if you don't get any feedback.
Some feedback in a respectful way.
Feedback in a respectful way.
The situation for me was when the follower showed in very small steps that she didn't want it, and some other time I said, "Hey, do you not want to dance anymore?" She said, "No." Okay.
Okay, so the follower showed to you in small steps, step by step, that they don't feel it, and this was.
Yeah, that didn't leave me with a bad feeling. I said, "Okay, let's not dance."
That gave you the best feeling. Best feeling of those. Okay. Yeah.
Also, same to me, the hardest thing was not to get any feedback. I mean, maybe it was my breath, and just telling me something I can fix quite fast would be nice.
So maybe it was the breath, not getting feedback was difficult, because maybe it's easily fixable, and you would be willing to fix it also if you would know. Okay. Yeah.
The experience that I want to say is that sometimes the follower just waited for the song to end. Like they said stop, and she waited for the last point of the song instead of stopping when she found an opening. Also, that concept.
Anything you want to share from you?
I felt that this was respectful, but I also, knowing that this exercise exists, I felt really I didn't feel like it was truthful for her. I wanted her to stop in mid-dance for her to
Wow.
what she felt.
You wanted her to stop mid-dance instead of like waiting until the end of the dance, because it would be more truthful for her, and that you would have preferred that actually if she would stop mid-dance. You would have preferred stopping mid-dance. Oh wow. Maybe we want to share some of those things later on the stage. I don't remember those because I couldn't write them down. So maybe if you want to share something, you can do this on the stage. But let's see. Yeah.
I can share one experience. Can you speak higher?
Yeah. I can share one of my experience. So I didn't attend the practice just now, but just last month. In a social dance, because the music was quite fast, and I was trying to do a chicoche. So it's called like boom at one, right? But the musicality should be like boom at one. Stop there. So the followers just stop there. But I tried to make the treble, so it meant hurt backwards. So I know exactly what I did wrong, and unlike all of you, you don't know what you're doing wrong, right? And then after that, I felt that she just gave me that look, like judgmental, and I feel sorry, but I didn't know how serious it is at the moment, because it takes some time. The music is going, everything's happening, and almost when the dance is finished, like you can feel the judgmental is like more and more serious, like this is not gonna be enjoyed anymore, and you don't know what to do at the moment, because it's weird if you call off the dance, and if you apologize, like if it works or not, and then the followers just.
So you saw some technique, and then the judgment became stronger and stronger over time. It didn't get released. Okay. Yes. Thank you for sharing. Timing. We really want the party to start, so please let's move together in the middle again.
Okay. I want to hear at least like 5 or 6 on how it was to say no. Stressful. Stressful.
Amazing.
Amazing. Stressful.
I don't feel well because I'm not used to like set my boundaries, so I'm like crying now a bit.
You're crying a bit. We are with you because as women we had our own story about how much we are not allowed to do that. So I understand. I believe a lot of us understand you.
Thank you for the workshop.
Of course, it's such a joy for me to bring all the pain that I felt about this topic to do something about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Usually when I don't like it, I do it after the end of the dance. I don't do it during.
You don't do it during the dance. You feel shame and guilty.
Oh my God. I also find it harder when it's the person I know or it's a friend.
It's harder for you if it's a friend.
Yeah, and for me it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. It's harder when it's a person that you don't know. Okay.
I think the problem is also that on a daily basis, when we're out and about minding our own business, going to the store, to the post office, and we get catcalled, that we have to deal with this then. And we don't know what kind of reaction we're going to get. Is the person going to become aggressive in their words, in their approach to us? So that's why often we don't say anything, we just remove ourselves from the situation. So it's a bit hard to say no. And it takes time to get the confidence to do it.
I'm going to share one experience I had. I had many of these types, but one of them was I had a very sexy dance. Very hot. I was there together with him. We both feeling it. In the end of the dance, that was it. That was the dance for me. And he came to me and he was like, let's continue in my room. And I know that the Brenda from the past, she would get offended. She would be, this was my sacred space, you ruin it. But the Brenda that did a lot of work on how to react on the things that happened to me in my past. In that moment told him, you know what? I don't feel it right now, but if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
I would like to do more.
This is only possible because there was a lot of work emotionally done on the things that were triggered in the dance floor. Because what happens to us is that a lot of times the reaction is not coming from what is happening right in the moment. It's something that happened to us before, and this is where I believe dance, it's not therapy, but it can lead you to find things that can heal you, like therapy.
Sometimes it's hard to know how you're feeling in the moment, or when something triggers your upset. So it takes time for processing. And then by the time we understand ourselves, it's like, oh, I need to have an explanation to be able to say no, or to set a boundary, or to say, oh, I need to walk away right now.
I love what you're saying, because this is how we started. We want our bodies to be able to be open and free and relaxed. And as soon as the body is saying, we should be able to listen. But we are not able to listen because a lot of us are living here saying like, it's wrong to say no, or I should be a better follower, or I should like this, or you know. And then we feel like we need to explain why we're not comfortable.
And we don't owe an explanation. That's the thing. We don't actually owe one.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you.
I noticed that in the exercise, there's moments where for me it was like too sexual, I didn't want it, but then my first fear, I still go along with it, and then there's a pleasure that comes from going into it. And that pleasure then, I don't want, it's not that I don't want it anymore, it's like I let it happen, and then there's like a slippery slope where like, oh, I actually enjoy it, right? Well, but then you end up in a situation where actually you didn't want to be in it. But there is a gray zone as to, and I find for myself that happens a lot, that like initially I would have said no, but then it just, you know.
It goes, I say that it's the alignment of this, and this. They need to be together, and they're often not. So one part wants something, the other part wants something else, and then it becomes a conflict inside. And then it's very hard for the leader to really read.
And I think that's the issue, is that the boundaries are not clear for yourself or for the other. I mean, it's very clear, it's actually, for me at least, it's easy to say no, it's walk away, but it's like, that gray zone, that's the hard part.
I think this comes also with how open you are, right? You're probably somebody that allows yourself to feel these things. And I know people that they say, no, dance is not a place for me to feel that. And they set the boundaries way earlier. I'm like a little bit like you. I allow myself to go there too. And I can be super okay if I feel like the person listens to when I want to stop. And if I notice that he doesn't, then I back out. Yeah?
She wanted to say something. You had your hand up really quickly.
Yes.
ADHD is fine.
Yeah, so I'm to this, and so it was really clear that say the gray
We need to
zone.
stop? Okay.
Not stop, but finish.
Finish.
Yeah, you say also, you can also say no in the gray zone, like you feel it and then you don't, then it's too much. Then okay, you can go back, then you just do that. And so I just, when I said no, I just somehow
Brenda, how are you?
I had them close and on different closeness to say no, and then I felt like, oh, I feel guilty, and then I want to, next time I said say no, but hug them, and they're like, oh, you want more? So no, be more clear. Being more clear felt maybe stronger, but I was better. It was clearer for the other person.
To respect and honor all the things that we all have to share, I would love to offer that we do a women's circle at some point in the week. If you're still here, yes? Yeah. Because I feel like we need to talk more about this. It's not enough, of course, but it's a start. This was our way to try to start this, because I believe it's super important. We are the ones giving our bodies to people. So we need to be able to say no, because we need to take care of this. And if it's hard, and I understand it's hard, but we can do this. It's possible. Yes? Yes.
Yes. No.
Thank you so much.
Okay, peoples, come a little closer together, so we're gonna go to the end of this little experience discussion experiment. Well, I hope you could get something out of this. I can tell you that I'm really, really happy that we at least started to do something about it. Thank you so much, Ludek, for opening this space. Thank you for all of you to be here. I believe this is a little step for us to bring more freedom with safety to our space that we love so much, which is this one. Do you want to say some stuff? I still have one thing that I want to mention. One thing that I want to mention, like I told you in the beginning, the first time I did a consent class was with Roger. I think he's here. I saw his face. He's right here. The work he presented, it was the wheel of consent that I started to do a graduation about it. that feels really cool. It changed my life completely. So I would highly recommend, if you want to practice more. I had some people saying that it's very hard for them to say no. Maybe this is an option. The Wheel of Consent is a course, is available online. There are some stuff that are free, and Roger also facilitates it. Yes? Cool.
Brenda, huh? Crazy. 2 more minutes. We will make it in time. Wow.
We have 2 minutes.
Okay, what you can go to schoolofconsent.org, and there you can find all the Wheel of Consent facilitators in your area to learn to practice your consent practice.
Let's send on the group.
We will send some resources later. Perfect. So, we practiced, and we did the first practice, and at the same time, awareness team, so people that you can talk to, is a common practice, and it's a very good source of reinforcement for that. And we're looking forward to having an even larger group. And at the same time, we already have one right now and this evening as well. We have Brenda, who also volunteered to be a person. Then we also have Felicia. And Felicia is a practicing psychotherapist. So we have an amazing Zoom community here, right? It's so... And you can also always come to me or reach out to me when you see me, which is not so often, and or via other messenger, etc. We can talk later. And with this,
so Florian, 4, 5, 6 a.m. right? So you can reach Florian just during the sunrise. But it's good to find him. Guys, I think this is so important to talk about topics like this one, because the new people are coming onto the dance scene. And for me, this is what we talked before, that what I see many times, especially, that the completely new people who are dancing like 2, 3, 4 months, and they are simply still not that confident, and they suddenly get to the situation which really traumatize them then later. So I think this is not a rocket science. I think it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's not a rocket science. One thing, don't worry to say no in the situation you don't want to be in. Simply, this is something I want to support so much. And so, Brenda, I would love to dance tonight with you, but if you touch me incorrectly, I will say no. Yeah, I will say no.
I would be very happy that you take care of yourself.
I will. Be careful. Guys, please, big applause for Florian and Brenda. Amazing that they did.